It's a funny thing about money. As you accumulate more of it, it doesn't just get bigger. It's like its whole personality changes. The way it feels, the way it behaves for you, it's completely different at certain key milestones.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Why does 10 grand feel like one thing and a million feels like something from another planet? It's not just about the math. There's a huge psychological and strategic shift that happens, and understanding that shift is the whole key to the game.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. That's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer. The journey to building wealth isn't just about stacking cash, it's about evolving how you think, how you act, and how you see the world.
So let's call this the rule of three. It's a simple but really powerful framework that splits the whole journey into three very distinct stages. And each stage has its own focus, its own set of rules, and its own hidden traps. So, let's dive in.
Okay, so this is where it all begins. Stage 1. For anyone who's starting from scratch, this isn't just some random number. It's probably the most important, most emotionally charged milestone you're going to hit.
Hitting this number, seeing that in your account for the first time, it's a massive shift. It's the moment money stops being this constant source of anxiety and finally starts to give you just a little bit of breathing room. It's the first taste of stability.
Look, the main goal here is not to get rich. It's way more fundamental than that. It's about proving to one person, and one person only, yourself, that you are in charge of your money and not the other way around.
So your focus at this stage has to be super practical. We're talking about cutting out the fluff, actually learning to budget, and resisting that urge to spend more just because you have a little more. Every single item on this list is really about one thing: building that muscle of delayed gratification. You're proving that your future is more important than your impulses right now.
But here's where you gotta be careful. There's a huge trap waiting for you. A lot of people hit 10 grand, they feel safe for the first time in their lives, and they just stop. They think they've crossed the finish line. But the truth is, this isn't the destination. This is just the launch pad.
So once you've built that solid foundation, the entire game changes. Making that jump from 10,000 all the way to 100,000, well, that requires a completely different strategy. Getting to six figures. Now this is when money starts to feel less like a safety net you're holding on to, and more like an active partner that's helping you grow. It starts to have its own energy, its own momentum. Think of it this way. Stage 1 was all about playing financial defense. Stage 2 is where you switch to offense. You've already proven you can save. Now the new challenge is to make that money start working for you.
And this right here is why this stage feels so incredibly different. When you have 10 grand, a 10% return gets you $1,000, which is nice. But a 10% return on 100 grand, that's $10,000. That's a life-changing amount of money. For the first time, you can actually see and feel the power of your money growing.
So that means your focus has to change completely. You can't just scrimp and save your way to this level. The new strategy is about increasing how much you earn, developing skills that pay well, and turning your good habits into automated systems so your investing happens on its own without you even thinking about it.
But there are two huge traps here that can stop you dead in your tracks. The first one is fear. You're so scared of losing the money you worked so hard for that you never actually invest it. And the second one is lifestyle creep. You start upgrading your car, your apartment, your vacations, and you accidentally spend away all your progress. All right, on to the final stage. This is the biggest leap, and it's definitely the hardest. But this is where real, true financial freedom is born. This is where you go from being well off to being truly wealthy.
At this level, money isn't even the same substance anymore. It stops being a tool that you use to live your life, and it becomes a powerful engine that can run your life for you, completely independent of your time and your labor.
The whole point of this stage is to build a machine.
You're building assets and systems that generate income without you having to be there day in and day out. You're not just an earner or an investor anymore. You're becoming an architect.
And the raw power you unlock at this level is just staggering. A simple 10% return now generates $100,000 a year. Just think about that for a second. Your money, all by itself, is earning a higher salary than most people do working a full-time job.
Now, getting here demands a massive shift in your mindset. You have to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. The whole game is about owning assets, businesses, real estate, anything that puts cash in your pocket.
And this brings us to the final boss of building wealth, impatience. After all these years of grinding, it is so tempting to see some risky shortcut that promises to get you there faster. And that, right there, is how fortunes are lost.
So, you see how it works? The most important thing is just understanding this map. Knowing which stage you're currently in lets you focus on doing the right things, and just as importantly, lets you sidestep the most common traps.
And here it is, the whole journey on one simple map. You can see the clear progression. You start with discipline to find stability. Then you use skills to find opportunity. And finally, you build systems to achieve true freedom. Each stage builds perfectly on the last one.
And really, this is the most important lesson of all. Growing your wealth isn't just about what you do with your money. It's about who you become in the process. You have to evolve right alongside your bank account. So I'll leave you with that question. Take a good look at this roadmap, be honest about where you are right now, and then ask yourself, who do I need to become to take that next step?